The sun was high in the cerulean sky of Xlara, casting dappled light through the dense canopy of the forest. The air was alive with the scent of exotic flowers, a symphony of colors blooming in every direction. Birds with iridescent feathers filled the air with their melodic songs, creating a harmonious backdrop to the natural beauty of the planet. It was on such a day, amidst this idyllic setting, that Hara embarked on her latest adventure. Hara, a young Valerian girl with eyes as deep and curious as the forest itself, moved nimbly through the underbrush. Her silver hair flowed behind her like a river of moonlight, and her soft, iridescent skin glowed faintly in the sunlight. She was a creature of the forest, at home among its towering trees and hidden pathways. As she ventured deeper into the woods, her keen senses picked up an unfamiliar sound, a low, rumbling noise that grew louder with each passing second. Hara paused, her heart quickening as she strained to identify the source. Suddenly, the sound erupted into a deafening roar, and the sky above her darkened as a massive shadow passed overhead. She looked up just in time to see a human spacecraft hurtling through the sky, trailing smoke and flames. Her heart pounded in her chest as the spacecraft disappeared behind a ridge, followed by a thunderous crash that shook the ground beneath her feet. Hera stood frozen for a moment, her mind racing with a mix of fear and curiosity. She had never seen a human spacecraft up close before, and the thought of exploring the wreckage filled her with both dread and excitement. Driven by an insatiable curiosity, Hara set off towards the crash site, her nimble feet barely making a sound on the forest floor. She moved swiftly, her senses on high alert as she navigated the familiar terrain. The scent of smoke grew stronger as she approached, mingling with the sweet fragrance of the flowers and the earthy aroma of the forest. When she reached the ridge, Hera carefully peered over the edge. Below her, the spacecraft lay in a clearing, its once sleek and shiny exterior now marred by scorched metal and billowing smoke. She could see a figure moving inside the wreckage, struggling to free themselves from the twisted remains of the ship. Her heart skipped a beat as she realized it was a human child, injured and alone. Without a second thought, Hara scrambled down the slope, her mind racing with concern for the young human. As she approached the wreckage, she could see the child more clearly. He was about her age, with tousled dark hair and a face streaked with dirt and soot. He winced in pain as he tried to move, his leg trapped under a piece of debris. "Hello," Hara called out softly, her voice trembling with a mixture of fear and determination. "Are you all right?" The boy's eyes snapped open, filled with a mix of relief and weariness. "Help me," he pleaded, his voice weak and strained. "I'm stuck." Hara nodded, her resolve strengthening. She carefully navigated the debris, her agile fingers working quickly to lift the heavy piece of metal off the boy's leg. He cried out in pain as she freed him, but the relief in his eyes was palpable. "Thank you," he whispered, his voice barely audible. "My name is Alex." "Hara," she replied, offering him a reassuring smile. "Can you stand?" With her help, Alex managed to get to his feet, though he leaned heavily on her for support. "I think so," he said, wincing as he tested his weight on his injured leg. "I don't know what happened. One minute everything was fine, and the next we were crashing." Hara's mind raced with questions, but she pushed them aside for now. "We need to get you away from here," she said firmly. "The ship could still be dangerous." Supporting Alex, she led him away from the wreckage and deeper into the forest. They moved slowly, Hera's keen eyes and ears constantly scanning their surroundings for any signs of danger. She knew the forest well and guided them to a small, secluded clearing where they could rest and tend to Alex's injuries. As they sat down, Hera examined Alex's leg. It was bruised and swollen, but thankfully not broken. She tore a strip of cloth from her tunic and wrapped it around his leg, creating a makeshift bandage. "Thank you," Alex said again, his voice filled with gratitude. "I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't found me." Hara smiled, her heart warming at his words. "You're welcome," she replied. "But we need to figure out what to do next. Your ship is badly damaged, and it might take some time to repair." Alex nodded, a determined look in his eyes. "We'll figure it out," he said. "Together." Hara moved swiftly through the forest, her thoughts a whirlwind. She knew the consequences of helping a human, but she couldn't turn away from someone in need. Gathering a few medicinal herbs and filling a small container with fresh water from a nearby stream, she hurried back to Alex. When she returned, she found him staring at the forest with wide eyes, marveling at the vibrant colors and the symphony of bird songs. "It's beautiful here," he said softly as she knelt beside him. Hara smiled, feeling a spark of pride for her home. "Yes, it is. Now, let me help you." She gently cleaned his wounds with the water and applied the medicinal herbs, her fingers deft and careful. Alex winced a few times but didn't complain. As she worked, they began to talk. At first it was small, tentative questions about their homes, their families, their lives. Hera learned that Alex had been traveling with his parents on an exploratory mission when their ship encountered a meteor storm. He had taken an escape pod, but it malfunctioned and sent him crashing to Xlara. "I thought I was done for," Alex admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "Until you found me." Hara looked into his eyes, seeing the fear and gratitude there. "You're safe now," she assured him. "We'll get your spacecraft fixed, and you'll be able to go home." Hara watched Alex with a curious fascination as he worked on the spacecraft. His movements were precise and confident, despite the injuries that still pained him. She marveled at the human technology, so different from the organic tools and methods of her people. One evening, as they took a break, Hera could no longer contain her curiosity. "Tell me about your world," she asked, her violet eyes shimmering with interest. Alex looked up, wiping sweat from his brow. "Earth? It's complicated. Beautiful in many ways, but also chaotic. We have towering cities made of glass and steel, and there are places where nature still reigns, like here." His voice softened. "But there's a lot of conflict, too. Not everyone gets along." Hara nodded, absorbing his words. "It's not so different here. We Valerians live peacefully with humans now, but it wasn't always that way. There were wars, long before my time. But we learned to coexist." As they continued their work, Alex shared more stories of Earth. He spoke of bustling marketplaces where the air was filled with the scent of spices and the hum of haggling voices. He described the vast oceans, whose depths held mysteries yet to be uncovered, and the endless skies that stretched above the highest mountains. Hera listened, entranced by the vivid images he painted with his words. In return, Hara told Alex about Xlara. She described the sacred groves where the oldest Valerian trees stood, their bark etched with the history of her people. She spoke of the festivals held under the full moons, where Valerians and humans danced together in a celebration of unity. She shared legends of ancient creatures that roamed the forest, their spirits still said to protect the land. One night, under a sky glittering with countless stars, Alex and Hara sat by a small fire. The spacecraft loomed behind them, now partially repaired, a silent sentinel to their burgeoning friendship. The firelight danced on their faces, casting a warm glow. Hara broke the silence. "Do you believe in fate, Alex?" Alex tilted his head, considering the question. "I'm not sure. I think we make our own paths, but sometimes it feels like things happen for a reason. Like us meeting here." Hara smiled softly. "In Valerian lore, we believe that some connections are destined, that our spirits are linked across time and space. When I found you, I felt something, like our paths were meant to cross." There was a pause, a shared moment of understanding that hung in the air like the scent of the forest flowers around them. Alex reached out, hesitating for a moment before his hand gently touched Hara's. Her skin was warm, her touch delicate yet firm. "I feel it too," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "It's like we've known each other much longer than just these few days." As the fire crackled softly, their hands remained entwined, the barriers between their worlds dissolving in the intimacy of the moment. The forest seemed to hold its breath, as if bearing witness to the forbidden bond that was blossoming. Days turned into weeks, and the repairs on the spacecraft neared completion. But with each passing day, the impending separation loomed larger. Their conversations grew deeper, their silences more meaningful. They spoke of dreams and fears, of hopes for a future that seemed both impossible and tantalizingly close. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Alex turned to Hera. "When the ship is fixed, I'll have to leave. But I promise I'll come back, no matter what it takes." Hara's eyes glistened with unshed tears. "I'll wait for you, Alex, no matter how long it takes." Their lips met in a gentle, bittersweet kiss, sealing a promise that defied the conventions of their worlds. The forest around them seemed to hum with approval, the ancient trees standing as silent guardians of their love. In the quiet moments that followed, they held each other close, their hearts beating in unison. The future was uncertain, filled with challenges they could not yet foresee, but for now, they had this moment. And in that moment, nothing else mattered. With a final, lingering look, Alex entered the spacecraft. Hera watched as the hatch closed, sealing him inside. She stood there, feeling a mix of pride for their accomplishment and a deep sadness for their parting. The spacecraft began to lift off, its engines humming steadily. Hera took a step back, shielding her eyes from the dust and debris stirred up by the liftoff. She watched as the spacecraft rose higher and higher, until it was just a speck in the sky, then disappeared entirely. Hera stood alone in the clearing, the forest around her seeming unusually quiet. The vibrant world that had once felt so full of life now felt empty. She took a deep breath, trying to steady herself. Alex had promised to return, and she believed him with all her heart. Until then, she would hold on to the memories they had made and the hope that one day they would be reunited. She turned and began to walk back towards her village, each step feeling heavier than the last. Her mind was a whirlwind of thoughts and emotions, but amidst the chaos, one thing remained clear: her love for Alex was stronger than any distance that might separate them. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the forest in shades of twilight, Hera whispered a silent vow to the evening sky. "I'll wait for you, Alex, no matter what." With that promise etched in her heart, she continued her journey home, the forest closing in around her like a protective embrace. The path ahead was uncertain, but Hera knew that their love would endure, transcending the boundaries of their worlds. And so, with each step, she carried the hope of their future together, lighting her way through the darkness. The days on Exlara were marked by the gentle whisper of the wind through the tall, iridescent trees and the symphony of countless birds singing their timeless songs. However, for Hera, each day without Alex felt like an eternity, a stark contrast to the beauty surrounding her. The vibrant colors of the flowers seemed to dim in his absence, and the once exhilarating forest adventures felt empty and hollow. Hera sat by the glistening stream of echoes, its waters reflecting the myriad hues of the setting sun. She clutched a piece of parchment in her delicate, blue-tinted hands, the ink slightly smudged from her tears. It was Alex's latest letter, filled with tales of Earth's bustling cities, the vastness of its oceans, and the shimmering stars that reminded him of her eyes. His words were her solace, each one a lifeline that kept her tethered to their love, bridging the immense distance between them. On Earth, Alex faced his own struggles. The sprawling metropolis, with its towering skyscrapers and ceaseless activity, felt suffocating without Hera's serene presence. He often found himself gazing at the night sky, seeking the distant star that was Exlara, wondering if Hera was looking up at the same time. His room, cluttered with blueprints and tools, bore evidence of his restless mind, constantly working on improving his spacecraft, making it faster and more reliable for his return journey to Exlara. Their letters were filled with longing and hope, each one a testament to their enduring love. They shared everything: Hera's struggles with her family's expectations and societal norms, and Alex's relentless efforts to secure a future where they could be together without fear or prejudice. Hera's family, the esteemed Valerian elders, were concerned about her frequent disappearances into the forest and her increasing detachment from Valerian traditions. They suspected, but did not yet know, the true reason for her distraction. "Hera, you must understand the importance of our customs and heritage," her mother, Elira, would say, her voice gentle but firm. "Our bond with the humans is one of coexistence and respect, but there are boundaries that must not be crossed." Hera would nod, her mind drifting to thoughts of Alex and the love they shared, a love that defied boundaries and expectations. She knew that revealing her relationship with Alex would invite scorn and perhaps even punishment, but her heart refused to conform to the rules that sought to keep them apart. Back on Earth, Alex faced a different kind of challenge. His parents, both renowned scientists, were supportive but skeptical of his relationship with Hera. They worried about the societal implications and the potential backlash from both humans and Valerians. Alex, interspecies relationships are complex, his father would caution. There are cultural differences, biological concerns, and not to mention the prejudices that exist on both sides. "I know, Dad," Alex would reply, determination in his eyes. "But Hera and I share something real, something worth fighting for. I won't give up on us." Months turned into a year, and the wait grew more excruciating. Hera's hope flickered like a fragile candle in the wind, but she held on, drawing strength from Alex's letters. Each one was a promise, a vow that he would return and they would find a way to be together. One evening, as Hara sat by the stream of echoes, a familiar hum filled the air. Her heart raced, and she stood up, her eyes scanning the sky. There, breaking through the twilight, was Alex's spacecraft, descending gracefully, its metallic surface glinting in the dying light. She could hardly believe it, her love had returned. The spacecraft landed softly on the forest floor, and the hatch opened to reveal Alex, his face lit with a radiant smile. Hara ran to him, her heart bursting with joy and relief. They embraced, their reunion a testament to the love that had endured the long wait and the countless obstacles. "I told you I'd come back," Alex whispered, his voice choked with emotion. "I never doubted you," Hara replied, tears streaming down her face. "Not for a moment." Hara and Alex stood together at the edge of the forest where they had first met, the place where their paths had crossed and their fates had intertwined. The memories of their initial encounter, the moments spent repairing the spacecraft, and the whispered promises of a forbidden love came rushing back. It was here, amidst the towering trees and beneath the endless sky, that they had forged a bond that transcended the boundaries of their worlds. Hara turned to Alex, her eyes reflecting the morning light and the depth of her emotions. "Do you think we can really do this, Alex? Do you think we can truly be together despite everything?" Alex took her hand in his, their fingers interlacing effortlessly. "We've already overcome so much, Hera. We've defied the odds, faced dangers, and stood against the taboos of both our societies. I believe in us, in our love. Together we can face anything." Hara smiled, a mix of hope and determination in her expression. She knew the challenges they faced were immense. Interspecies relationships were not just frowned upon, they were forbidden. Both on Ixlara and Earth, their love would be met with suspicion, prejudice, and possibly even hostility. But the strength of their connection, the depth of their understanding, and the purity of their love gave them the courage to confront these challenges head-on. As they walked back to Hara's village, hand in hand, they were greeted with curious stares and whispered conversations. The Valerians, though peaceful and intelligent, were deeply rooted in their traditions. Hera's family, especially, had always upheld these traditions with unwavering loyalty. But Hara had made her decision. She would stand by Alex, no matter the consequences. They approached Hara's home, a beautiful structure built into the living trees, blending seamlessly with the natural surroundings. Her family awaited them, their expressions a mix of concern, curiosity, and disapproval. Hara's mother, a wise and respected elder, stepped forward. "Hara, my daughter," she began, her voice calm yet firm, "you know the laws of our people. You know the traditions we hold dear. This relationship you have with Alex goes against everything we have stood for." Hara met her mother's gaze with unwavering resolve. "I know, Mother. But I also know that love is the most powerful force in the universe. It transcends species, traditions, and even laws. Alex and I have found something rare and beautiful, something worth fighting for." Her mother's eyes softened, a flicker of understanding and perhaps even approval passing through them. "Love is indeed powerful, Hara. And if your love for Alex is true, then perhaps it is time we reconsider our traditions. The world is changing, and we must change with it." The rest of the family murmured in agreement, some reluctantly, others more readily. It was clear that Hera's mother's words carried weight, and her acceptance signaled a shift in their attitudes. It would not be easy, and there would be many obstacles ahead, but this was a start. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Hera and Alex faced many challenges together. They encountered prejudice from both humans and Valerians, navigated the complexities of their societies, and fought for their right to be together. But with each challenge, their bond grew stronger, their love deeper. They became symbols of change, of a new era where love was not bound by species or tradition. Their story inspired others, fostering a new understanding and acceptance between humans and Valerians. Slowly but surely, the taboos began to crumble, replaced by a new vision of unity and coexistence. One evening, as the twin moons of Ixlara rose high in the sky, casting a silver glow over the land, Hera and Alex stood together on a hill overlooking the village. They held each other close, their hearts beating in unison. "We've come so far," Alex whispered, his voice filled with wonder and gratitude. "Yes, we have," Hera replied, her eyes shining with tears of joy, and we have a lifetime ahead of us filled with love, adventure, and endless possibilities. They kissed under the moonlight, their love a beacon of hope for a future where differences were celebrated and love knew no bounds. Together, they faced the future with courage, determination, and an unbreakable bond that would guide them through whatever challenges lay ahead. And so, their story continued, a testament to the power of love and the strength of the human and Valerian spirit.